in response to a appellate court reinstating the gag on him, Donald Trump has predictably lost his mind once again. And previously in his trials, he'd been attacking, like for instance, the Judge Engoron. Eventually, there were so many threats, including death threats from that the gag order was put into place. That gag order had to be extended because he started to attack other people, lawyers involved in the trial who weren't under the first gag order. Well, now he's found yet another person that he can attack who isn't currently being protected, and that is the wife of the judge. I'm not gonna tell you all of the things he's been saying about her on social media, but here's a sampling. Judge Engoron's Trump-aiding wife, together with his very disturbed and angry law clerk, have taken over control of the New York State witch hunt trial aimed at me, my family, and the Republican Party. No word on what she has done to take over the trial, just a statement because he is allowed to attack her without being hit with massive fines. He's also been sending truths like, including these memes from Dawn Marie. So this is an account that they're saying is the wife of the judge. So he's saying she put up this like photoshopped image of Trump being bald and someone putting up a slogan about Trump. And that means that it's the most unfair trial in the history of New York. And I have always felt that it really will come down to the memes when determining if someone can have justice. He sent out another one of one of Dawn Marie's messages of Trump in jail. Obviously, that is an AI generated image. It's not real, and you know that because in the image, Trump is reading a book. Clearly, it didn't occur in real life. Now, where's this Dawn Marie account coming from? Well, this all came apparently from Laura Loomer, who might well be press secretary under Donald Trump the next time around. She just states that it's Dawn Marie Engoron. And says that that's biased and so the trial shouldn't count for anything. Could it be? Sure. Could it also be any random person in the world? That would only be the easiest thing in the world. And I will fast forward. A spokesperson for the judge's wife says that that is not her account. She doesn't have an account like that. So no evidence has been presented other than the fact that the easily changeable name on that rando account is the same first name as the judge's wife. And it's being used in the predictable way to say that this trial, it's not fair. Nobody has to respect the results of it. He's pushing for some sort of mistrial or something. We have more that we can get to, but Yas, I want to start with you. What do you think about his new creative way of getting around that gag order?
Yeah, I like the picture of bald Trump. He looked kind of like Elmer Fudd a little bit.
Yes.
It's very strange that he's doing any of this, to be honest with you. So much has come out regarding his goings on, both in his DC trial and also in his New York trial. Like they just found that in New York, where he's being indicted for bank fraud, for committing bank fraud with a Trump organization, he wasn't supposed to be moving money around, but he just moved $40 million from Trump organization into a personal account, 29 million of which was used for a tax payment. And then on top of that, in DC, his own legal team sort of admitted that there was in fact Russian interference in the 2016 election, despite Trump this whole time claiming that it's been a hoax. So he's already in a lot of hot water. He already has a lot of things that he has to be dealing with. And now, like, what is the point of this? I've said it before on some show. This all seems to be like a situation where, first of all, he has to convince the judge. Like, there's no jury in this trial, right? So attacking the judge makes no sense here. Attacking the judge's wife makes no sense here. The theory is that, he knows that he's not going to win the trial. And so he's kind of trying to set it up right now ahead of time that it was all rigged against him, just like what he did in the 2020 election. He started talking about election rigging way before the actual election happened. And that was just to kind of put it in all of his supporters' minds that, everyone is out against him. He becomes more of a martyr. So this seems like part of that.
100%.
Donald Trump is just incredible. There's no one like him. Because none of these situations, now with the civil trial, that's just his, bread and butter. He's a fraud. That's how he does his thing. But then everything else he's facing, the 4 indictments, the 91 felonies, which again, he knows he won't beat. He doesn't have to be facing them at all in the first place. He had a year and a half to give the documents back, right? And that's one of his bigger issues. And then obviously the Georgia election fraud. He didn't have to be in any of these situations, but he is. If he would have just given the documents back, he wouldn't be here. But as Yas pointed out, kind of his brand is I'm a victim, nothing's fair, poor me. And honestly, that's really not helping him a year from now when it comes to election day. The closer it gets to election day and all his campaign is, oh, I'm a victim, look at me, poor me, I'm in this situation that I put myself in. No one, he's gonna have a bottom of the barrel general election staff. No one's gonna wanna work with him who's worth a damn. I mean, this is the reality that he's gonna face. And every day, like, bro, if you would just shut up, you could just blindfolded walk your way back into re-election. He can't stop because it's who he is inherently. Like this dude, you got all this evidence where they're like, everyone told Donald Trump that if he did X, Y, and Z, it would be breaking the law. That's how you lose in court, and that's why he is losing in court. And then he waltzes out and he's like, F the judge, F the prosecutor. And then he goes back into the courtroom and loses. Like, how did he even notice these tweets? Like 4:30 in the morning, and he's like tweeting like he's one of a kind. Like I said, he's incredible. That was a lot, but yeah, he's just amazing.
Yeah, look, obviously there are a lot of differences between regular people and the rich, but this is a reminder that social media use ruins everyone's life. Whether you have no money or billions, spending too much time on Twitter will ruin your life. And also, I'm gonna try to make it no more than a minute, but I'm gonna waste a minute of your life. And it is that all I want is for people to be honest about what they believe, about their values. And there's almost nothing I hate more, even more than apathy, than people pretending to have a value or a principle that they obviously don't have. And this is like one of the most transparent ones. So the idea is the trial doesn't count if you can find X. So if the judge is put into power by someone of the opposing party, then it doesn't count. If the judge has ever said anything negative about you, if the judge has ever donated money to the other party, oh, we don't have that. Okay, so I guess if one of their relatives put up a meme, or we don't have that, we have an account that's the same name as one of their relatives putting up a meme, then it doesn't count. And Laura Loomer believes that. She would have you believe, Trump would have you believe that he believes that. So you guys are planning, with Trump back in power, to investigate and lock up all of your political opponents. Is this a principle that you would like to apply to that? Where if there's a family member that's in some way tangentially related to the special counsel that you put in place that has ever said anything negative about Obama or Biden or Hunter or whatever, that it doesn't count, and you just have to reset the same thing. If they've ever donated money to a Republican, then clearly it doesn't count. Obviously, this is a massive hypocrisy and they don't mean it, but like I just hate when people pretend to have a principle and they're not describing the actual principle. It's just it's a get out of consequences free card, a shallow one, a one that can only work because the target audience for it cares even less than they do about the reality of the situation.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.